задымка, туман или какая-то там что-то?
Ну, тут особенность такая в Барнауле, воздух не очень такой.
Вот постоянно вот такой?
Да, постоянно что-нибудь есть такое.
To be honest, I was quite stressed in those first few minutes after our plane landed at Barnaul Airport in the early morning. I think my wife was too. The gloomy landscape outside the window of our cab and this ominous haze over Barnaul, which our driver explained as heavy air pollution. At some point, I even regretted that we had decided to spend 3 days in Barnaul to explore the city before going hiking in the Altay Mountains. The thought of the air saturated with unhealthy miasma that we would have to breathe for 3 days crept into my head. But fortunately, my fears turned out to be greatly exaggerated. Good afternoon, dear friends. It is very nice to see you all safe and sound gathered around the monitor to watch another video from the series about our trip to Altay. And there's an interesting piece of information right here. It turns out that there is the Altay Territory and the Altay Republic. And these are in fact two different subjects of the Russian Federation. The capital of the Altay Territory is the city of Barnaul, through which we are currently traveling by cab, and the capital of the Altay Republic is Gorno-Altaysk. And the main difference between these two regions, I wonder what you think. Which one? Well, yes, I agree. One of the obvious differences is that the Altay Territory is mainly a plain, steppes and forests. But the Altay Republic is exclusively a mountain kingdom. This is true, but the main difference lies in the population. The Altay Territory is inhabited mainly by Russians, 94% of the population, but in the Altay Republic, even 35% of the population are indigenous people. Nevertheless, we finally reached the hotel where we will spend next 3 days. We will get to know the city and look forward to the start of our tour through the Altay Mountains. This is the Hotel Central. As the name suggests, the Hotel Central is located on the city's central square, Sovetov Square. When we look out of the window of our room, we see the House of Soviets on the left, the building that houses the administration of the Altay Territory. Directly opposite is the academic building of the Altay State University. In the center of the square stands a monument to Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Facing the main street of the city, which, as you understand, cannot be called anything other than Lenin Avenue. If you are interested in getting to know the Hotel Central better, follow the link that you can easily find in the description of the video. While we were waiting to check into our room, we walked around the nearest neighborhood. What are the most important facts to know about Barnaul when getting to know the city for the first time? The city of Barnaul is the administrative center of the Altay Territory. At present, just over 600,000 people live here. Barnaul is located in Siberia at the confluence of the Barnaul and Ob rivers. According to one of the versions that seems most reliable to me, it was the river Barnaul that gave the city its name. The name is made up of two Celtic words, Boruan, wolves, and Uel, river, water. That is, it turns out, in the sense of a wolf river. The distance from Barnaul to Moscow in a straight line is almost 3,000 kilometers. And a little history. Barnaul appeared in the 1730s as a tiny village where the owner of metallurgical plants, Akinfi Demidov, housed 200 peasants assigned to him, who were transported to Altay to set up his new silver smelter. Today, Barnaul is an important transportation hub, as well as an industrial, cultural, medical, and educational center of Siberia. And Barnaul can also be called a student city. because in general, this relatively small city is home to 12 higher educational institutions and almost 20 educational institutions for secondary specialized education. And that is impressive. On the advice of the girl working at the reception, our first trip to the city was dedicated to a walk in Nagorny. It means Highland Park. I think I won't be wrong if I call Nagornyy Park the flagship park of Barnaul. We walked along Lenin Avenue there, and of course we took photos along the way. Nagornyy Park. No sooner had Akinfi Demidov founded Barnaul than he planned to build a fortress on the site of today's Nagornyy Park to protect his factory. But as it turned out, there was no real threat from outside, and instead of a fortress, a cemetery was opened on the site, which was named Nagorny because of its location on a hill overlooking the entire district. The cemetery existed for more than a century and a half, and a large number of citizens were buried there, including famous public figures, scientists, merchants, and explorers of Altay. The Church of St. John the Baptist was built on the cemetery. Curiously, the cemetery was divided into 4 categories by decision of the Barnaul City Duma. The first category was located near the church, the second, in the center, the third and fourth, in a cut-off area right at the entrance to the gate. The fourth category was intended for the burial of the poor, and no payment was required for the allocation of places. For a place in the first category, you paid 4 rubles, in the second, 2 rubles, in the third, 1 ruble. In the description, you will find a link to the Wikipedia page dedicated to Nagornyy Park. In the mid-1930s, the Nagorny Cemetery was demolished along with the temple, and a cultural and recreational park was built in its place. And in the 1950s, an agricultural exhibition was organized on the territory of the park. Taking part in the exhibition was very prestigious. Currently, all that remains of the Altay VDNH are large letters, a staircase leading down the hill into the city, cobbled alleys, and another wonderful viewing platform with breathtaking views of the Ob River, the new bridge, and the city of Barnaul itself. It was the first day of our stay in Barnaul, and the first impressions of the city. Clean, green streets, beautiful houses, and a wonderful view from the viewing platform of Nagornyy Park. If we remember our mood immediately after arrival and compare it with the feelings at the end of our first walk, it's simply the earth and the sky. What else should we visit in Barnaul, Altay State of Local Lore Museum? The Museum World of Stone. Taste chocolate with cannabis at a very curious place called the Mountain Pharmacy. Take a walk through the Emerald Park. And of course, there is plenty to see in the streets of the city. Thank you, friends, for watching this video until the end. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit the like button. If not, feel free to click the thumbs down. Ask questions in the comments and subscribe to my channel, and of course, see you on the show.